Okay guys, welcome back again. Let me just adjust this camera here. There we go. Back again, some more Red Blue Gaming, and don't forget, if you like the content, like, subscribe, leave a comment. But today we are panel lining, so let's rip into it. We have got some panel lining ready to go. We've already started on a stealth suit here. So let's continue. Let's just get this little fella sorted with the rest of his lines. There we go. Start working through all the little sections. And spin him around the other side. And start working on the arms. Oh, look at that bang. This is not the first time we've done this now. We've done this a couple of times. We are learning how to operate the panel liner a touch better. I'm not hesitating as much. I know that, oops, there's a couple of splodges there that I'll have to clean up, but I'm getting into it and just whacking it in there a little more aggressively, and then knowing that I can go back and just quickly clean off those areas where I've slightly gone over. And as we go around, we just dip these in a little bit more. Boom, boom, boom. And on the corner of that one, we can get some maybe. There we go. Oh, I might just try and get that spot in there too. And if we can, we'll just dip some in these recesses here. We'll give it a quick wipe away. And there we go. One guy down. Excuse the itching of my arm off camera. Just all of a sudden got rather itchy. So now we move on to the next guy. And again, we just smash this in without really trying to hesitate. It's a bit too thick, which is okay because now we can get in and get our. Let's just try and take some of that away without causing too much of a hassle. We might have to actually wipe it down slightly, but it means we can go back and fix our mistakes. As you can see, just run this panel liner through a few more bits and pieces. Nice and quick. Boom. Each side. Boom. And again, we've got plenty of these Q-tips, so we can actually try and wipe away some of these overspills. But we continue. We're just getting this in all of the spots where it's required. And again, we've gone over there, so we can just get that off. Now, this also does help with, when we talk about it, getting us that grungy stuff that people talk about. That, oh, look, my fire warrior is, or my stealth suit here is grimdark. So this guy with all these panel lining here is definitely going to help him gain some of that dirty look, used armor, spent way too long out in the snow. Hasn't really had a chance to keep his armor up to date, shiny, make it look like it belongs. So we're just making that battle damage kind of look appropriate, like it's intentional. He's busted his balls for the Tau Empire, getting out and about, protecting again, I've gone way too hard on that lines there and way too much, and it's just going to have to try and hit the line and not the actual spot, which means I can just, there we go. We work our way around and boom, get that in there. Another one done. 3 more little dots there. Same on the outside. Fill those up. And we work our way around. Little screw holes. Forgot about those. And there we go. Another one down, although we can go back to the young fella here, which we had missed a couple of spots, like these little screw holes. 1, 2 little holes on the back of his armour there. Get some more in that arm. Holes on the front of his armour, there we go. Alright, next gentleman in the line. Whoop. Help if we can get it on the actual line and not just straight on the model. Just make for some painfulness. And as I said, Q-tips galore, so we can actually just run in and try and get rid of some of that. Might have to go back over this once this panel lining is dry with another dry brush of our brightest white, which was the reason what we did this for, was to show the area in which the sun would be coming from, and being able to go back and re-dry brush some of that stuff will actually help with, you know, as I said, can get in there with these little, oh, that's way too much in there, but that has run through a lot of spots, and we might actually have to take a little bit out. So we have way too much on the brush. That's better. There we go. And again, we just keep working our way around, getting all these areas where we've got the ability to panel line sorted. Some stuff on the front there. Oh, that's way too much. It's definitely, again, looks nice and dirty. Let's try and clear that off some more before we tap on, and then just try and pat around that and really dry that off in a different way. Might make life a little easier. Alright, so onto the shoulder guard. Same deal. I think we're going to have to just really clean that away because we got way too heavy with our panel liner. And panel liner being too heavy means it's way too thick where you don't want it to be, which can cause massive issues when you're trying your best to line up all these little dots and just give the look of, you know, something slightly grungy, something slightly used, slightly dirty. Make him feel like he's been in battle, so that otherwise it can look quite boring. But as I said, we're going to have to go over. And again, I've gone way too heavy with the panel liner there, unintentionally. And we should be able to get a lot of that away without causing too much of a problem, which seems to be a miracle compared to every other spot on the body. It's when it's gone down too heavy, it's really caused me an issue. So that one, I will say, was very, very much lucky. What they would call in Australia a tin arse. Got it sorted in a way I was happy with without actually doing any damage, which is a bonus, because as we go around, here we go, now we can get into the a slight overspill just on that one, and now we can go back to the clean all this off as much as possible. And we'll go back to these lines and use it very sparingly. And while he's quite grungy and dirty looking, it's done. So that's another one down. We will quickly try and get through this because while being another staple of what we need to do, it is just part of the process, and the quicker the process moves along, the better for the process. So I'll try and get this done ASAP as quickly as possible. And then that way, when it comes to it, we've gotten enough colour on the panels, then at least we will be finished and can move on to the next section, which may actually require more, to be honest, more dry brushing, just to fix up some of these spots where this panel liner has, as you can see there, I didn't get anywhere on the thing I wanted to be. And now I'm going to have to go into the next one of those and just tick it all off. And so the end of the front of the chest there, a couple of dots on the side. Oh, his hand, I forgot about that. I should be right. As we go through the model, just trying to work our way through without causing too much of a problem, because we're obviously putting paint on the model, like a paint-like substance on the model, which can, in some instances, cause a little bit of a problem with, oh, I've taken that all the way out. So that's the problem I'm worried about, is that when I clear up some of these spots, I'm accidentally taking away where I want the panel liner to run into, and therefore the ink that I have on the brush for the panel lining is going away and not really going in the spots that, getting removed from the spots where I really want it the most. So this is quite, I feel like can be quite tricky sometimes. We'll just work our way down this model here. I got away with doing that arm right for once, which I hope you can all see. And some, yeah, black on that boy, bad boy black there. And then we've got a few bits and pieces here. And again, just there we go, another one down. Now I didn't do any hands on these fellas, so let's whack some panel lining into that hand, just to help give it a little bit of depth. There we go. So again, it's just another area of shade, another section where we can look at it and go, oh, that worked or that didn't work. And here we are up to our last one, which hopefully means that when we get to the last one, we actually make less mistakes. But knowing me, knowing the big fella, knowing me, I'm going to make more mistakes on this one Although, right now, we will say we're moving on up to that section into the body. Excuse the poor focus on the camera. Again, I'm still filming this off my phone because, you know, I'm that guy. This is new. I haven't been doing this very long. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, still trying to get the feel for it. Really trying to figure out how well I'm going or not going, whether or not this is worth it. It's hard to tell. I have had a couple of passive-aggressive comments that I definitely do disagree with in terms of how they view what I'm doing or what I've done. Not with my tower per se, but more with my Dark Angels. People who are not happy with the fact that I painted Dark Angels purple and gold and used lore from one sect of my Dark Angels and their history to influence what I did, and then call them Dark Angels instead of, say, like, they are probably technically called they should be called Cowed Wardens, because that's what they're based off. But, you know, when you're fighting in a tournament and you go and you pick a faction, Cowed Wardens aren't a faction, so you have to run them as Dark Angels, which is how it works. You go and play in a tournament, you pick your faction. Now, Cowed Wardens, as I said, are a successor chapter of Dark Angels, so when it comes to choosing the faction, that's the faction you choose. And at tournaments, when people ask me, I actually explain the whole process as why they are the colour they are, what the theory is behind them, why I did what I did, my reasoning, just to make it easy, because I know they're a loud army. I know that it's very out there, outrageous. People look at them and think, oh, we've got a Emperor's Children player here because they're purple. And it's like, no. No Emperor's Children here, people. This is all Dark Angels, all looking after the Emperor of Mankind. Very much. Let's just click off a few bits and pieces here. Can actually get into a couple of these spots, which helps a little bit. And once we get that last little bit off just there, and possibly on the outside, a couple of spots. I say, look at that, done. So there we go, another one down. As I always say at the start of the videos, if you enjoy the content I post, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments, any questions you have, I'll do my best to answer them. But for the meantime, that's me. Peace out.